know somebody who kin to somebody who saw what you posted, because you gonna have to spend on business. Ross, big homie. First of all, you know it love. Second of all, I got to call a spade when it's a spade. You say you did it for free. Everybody do it for free, Ross.
Diddy's and Ross, which they good buddies, okay? They're gay. Who? Both.
The entire internet was on fire over this, man. Fans were going crazy when DC Young Fly, the master of fast comebacks and unfiltered jokes, went off on Rick Ross live on stage. What began as a lighthearted conversation quickly developed into one of the most outrageous public call-outs in hip-hop and comedy history. The audience roared when DC took it there, which nobody had anticipated. He gave Ross a direct look and declared, "You're a fraud." The atmosphere in the room abruptly changed. In a matter of minutes, videos were all over TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter as cameras were installed and social media took off. Let's examine what actually took place. The purpose of the event was to have fun. As usual, DC was hosting, making jokes, and making fun of celebs throughout the live filming. Everything went smoothly until Rick Ross emerged, attempting as usual to project his boss persona. Large chains, sunglasses inside the building, and security behind him. You familiar with the feeling. However, DC, being DC, couldn't help but make a few light-hearted remarks, such as, "Man, you got more lemon pepper wings than hit records lately." The audience chuckled. At first, Ross grinned, but it was obvious that he wasn't feeling it.
But then you drink.
We could have those debates, we really could.
$10 without change.
I mean,
You know what I'm
and
saying?
I like the way you
$10
followed up
times.
hustling with pushing it. Like, how did you know to come right back on their ass with
You
another?
got to.
Right.
Man, just don't take the foot off the gas at all.
Out of nowhere, Ross stood up and left.
Use the restroom one time and I'm gonna take this jacket off.
Let's do it.
Yeah, you can't.
Man, stay
take-
tuned.
You can't take your foot off for nothing.
All gas.
Oh, I'm talking about for life.
Things became tense at that point. In an attempt to retaliate, Ross referred to DC as a comedian who was never truly wealthy. DC did not tolerate the jeers from the audience for a moment. "At least I don't pretend to be something I'm not," he murmured, leaning forward. Boom! Everyone in the audience gasped. Phones went up, people began chanting, and DC turned the situation into pure comedy coupled with unvarnished reality. Ross was clearly heated. His jaw was clenched, his glasses were falling off, and security was drawing nearer, despite his best efforts to maintain composure. DC remained unflinching. He doubled down, saying, "You call yourself the biggest boss, but everybody around you is eating off lies." The audience went insane. The atmosphere was completely turned upside down by just one line. As DC continued to make fun of Ross as if he were back on Wildin' Out, fans began to yell, laugh, and record. But this wasn't merely a joke. DC was striking neuron after nerve. It was evident that he was speaking from a genuine place. It wasn't just humor the way he stated it, it was humor wrapped around the reality. It struck so strongly because of it. DC controlled that stage despite Ross's attempts to play it off. Social media declared him the victor right away, claiming that he took a risk that no one else in the business had. Call out Rick Ross directly.
Because
Try to
I
make it
with
bad.
you as a person. Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Before, okay, let's just say before all that happened, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say before all that happened. Bro, I'm listening to you, Ross. I feel like you wanted to. Hey!
Shut the up.
I'm listening to you, Ross. I feel like you probably one of the best lyricists from the South that we got. You dig what I'm saying? Like, you poetic, bro. When I listen to your music, I think you put a lot of time in.
The internet went crazy after that viral moment. Fans were sharing videos with titles such as "DC Young Fly just ended Rick Ross's ego," and "Ross chose the wrong one to play with." The video received millions of views on all platforms in a matter of hours. Everyone was chatting, including bloggers, rappers, comedians, and fans. DC went too far, according to some. Ross deserves it, according to others. But regardless of people's opinions, one thing was evident. Like a real one, DC held his ground. People began learning about these two's past behind the scenes. It seems that DC had been feeling this way for some time. Rumor has it that Ross offered to appear on a project years ago, but once things became serious, he abandoned them. Until recently, DC has never discussed it in public. Therefore, his accusation that Ross was a phony wasn't made at random. It was the result of genuine frustration. He was sick of the phony love in the profession, the folks who act shady behind the scenes while grinning in your face. You act like a boss, but you move like a brand, he remarked. He was speaking on behalf of everyone who has ever been duped by phony authority. The way DC handled himself was what truly made this occasion memorable. He contained his composure. He was a skilled comedian. He delivered each line to Ross with accuracy. He talked about Ross living in homes he leases, flaunting money he doesn't spend, and referring to himself as a hustler while his label musicians face hardships. There were howls from the crowd. It appeared as though Ross was on trial, and DC had transformed the stage into a courtroom. It was electric energy. DC's name was being chanted by the audience. Even Ross's teammates couldn't contain their laughter at how awful it appeared.
You went and did a podcast, a white podcast. You sat your ass right there for almost 2 hours
and didn't leave.
And you talked. And the white folk asked your ass, was you a correctional officer?
Yeah.
We would have never asked you no that, and then cause we got respect for you.
Right.
And you sat right there and you answered that question so eloquently,
Eloquently, right.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Following the instantaneous virality of the show clips, in an Instagram post, Ross attempted to dismiss it by stating, "Comedians are gonna joke. I continue to be the largest boss." However, it was not well received. Clown emojis inundated the comment sections, and DC received 0 remarks from Ross. In contrast to DC's unadulterated, self-assured intensity, some claimed Ross's answer felt feeble. DC cooked Ross, according to some of his own admirers. Celebrities also began to weigh in. The internet went crazy when 50 Cent tweeted the video with laughing emojis and wrote, "Guess the Wingstop man finally got roasted." Jokes weren't the only thing going on at this time. It revealed something more profound. People are sick and tired of hip-hop's false boss talk. DC's remarks struck a chord because they were genuine. He doesn't require a false identity to demonstrate that he is genuine and self-made. Fans adored it because he confronted a music tycoon and said what many others were too afraid to say aloud.
I came for free, homie, no charge. I did it on face, homie. I didn't ask you what your analytics was and this and that. I came on face, homie, to show love. And don't make it like I walked off on you. I left early. Rose had some other things to do too. But guess what? I came for free. And next time I come for free, at least have me some lemon pepper Wingstop at that. You heard me? But I came for free. I ain't charging. You feel me? Don't talk about Rose other business. I came and did that for free. And what is the analytics? How the show doing anyway, man? I come back on it, and when I'm gonna walk off that the next time, and this bitch say, "Rose, what was I doing?" Of course.
The events that followed added even more intrigue. Reports that Rick Ross wasn't handling the situation lightly began to surface a few days after the incident. According to people close to Ross, he felt disrespected and intended to deal with it in private. People were uneasy because they knew Ross wasn't referring to a cordial phone call when he said handle. DC, however, didn't appear to be concerned. In fact, he went all out in his subsequent comedic performance. "I don't need security to say the truth," he declared before the assembly, and the crowd went crazy. He was clearly not going to back down in the slightest. DC clarified that he had no intention of starting a feud. His goal was to reveal phony energy. He stated, "Too many people in the game act real until you say something they don't like." He said, "Y'all love calling yourselves bosses, but your employees are scared to talk to you." Because it encapsulated what supporters had been thinking about Ross for years, that statement struck a deep chord. Some claim that Ross treats individuals like pawns behind the ostentatious cars and business endeavors. And DC was screaming out precisely that, the hypocrisy.
First of all, you know it loves. Second of all, I got to call a spade when it's a spade. You say you did it for free. Everybody do it for free, Ross. You ain't the only nigga who did it for free. T.I. do it for free. Busta Rhymes did it for free. Snoop Dogg did it for free. Everybody who sat on that couch do it for free. Now, that wasn't the biggest moment. Now, that's one of the viral moments, but Boosie episode 8 million. Got Country Wayne, shit like 6-7 million. Like, we do numbers, we do analytics. Our analytics, we was the biggest before you came, and we was the biggest afterwards. So you always got room to come back to be on the biggest podcast in the world, correct? You dig what I'm saying? But when you call a spade,
Ross, however, made an effort to take charge again. He shared inspirational sayings, made money online, and shared videos of himself purchasing new homes. However, folks weren't duped. The more he flexed, the more others said things like, he's trying too hard. It was evident to fans that Ross was shaken. It hurt that the man who built his reputation on dominance and power was finally halted in front of millions of people. Rappers who never discussed drama were discreetly making fun of each other. One of them wrote, "Real ones don't need to remind people they're bosses." DC continued to win over the public in the meanwhile. He took advantage of the occasion to promote himself as a truth teller in the community as well as a comedian. You can't be mad at honesty. You only have to wear the shoes if they're fits. Additionally, that line became viral. DC is respected because he stands for what many performers overlook. Money and celebrity are not the sources of true confidence. Being genuine is the source of it. He is evidence that you don't have to pretend to succeed, and for that very reason, people supported him throughout the entire ordeal. The video showing DC making fun of Ross had over 20 million views on social media by the end of the week. It was being remixed, turned into memes, and used by fans as evidence that the industry needs less ego and more truth. DC did more than just make jokes. It was a moment of culture. He forced one of the biggest stars in hip-hop to confront reality in front of everyone by turning the microphone into a mirror. DC's stock increased significantly in the meantime. He began to receive more interviews, brand deals, and bookings. In typical DC form, he remained modest despite everyone wanting to hear his side of the story. "I wasn't trying to beef," he said to one interviewer. "I was simply being honest. You have a problem if the truth enrages you." People loved him even more as a result. He didn't take his time. He simply maintained authenticity. He transformed a heated exchange into a lesson about keeping your word. People's perceptions of the entertainment industry have also changed as a result of this entire event. It served as a reminder that notoriety does not shield one from criticism. DC demonstrated that speaking the truth doesn't require $1 million deal. The individual who isn't afraid to lose everything by being honest is sometimes the most genuine person in the room. Supporters claim that it's one of those infrequent instances where bravery and comedy coexist and amusement transforms into responsibility. Ross hasn't yet addressed it completely, which simply encourages further conversation. According to some insiders, he's working on new music and business strategies to divert attention from the criticism in an effort to improve his reputation behind the scenes. However, that video is often mentioned whenever his name becomes popular. It's as though DC permanently tarnished Ross's reputation with that fraudulent term. To be honest, fans don't think it's disrespectful. It serves as a wake-up call for them, to remind everyone that celebrity does not equate to authenticity. The game needed someone like DC. Ultimately, DC Young Fly did more than simply make fun of Rick Ross. He revealed a way of thinking that has dominated the sector for many years. He demonstrated that the truth doesn't require attention. It is the center of attention. A cultural reset emerged from what began as a comic roast. DC demonstrated that if your reputation is based on falsehoods, someone will eventually pull your card, no matter how wealthy or influential you are. And DC Young Fly did just that, live on stage that evening.